Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Ep.2 of Blue River Bowhunting Podcast, and got another cool episode lined up this week. Uh, Me and Brian Melton from Buck Tags Unlimited, we're going to do a little show on early season bow hunting, September, October, everything that's going on with that. But I'll bring him right in. Brian, how's it going?
Good, man. I can't complain. Appreciate you taking the time and having me on again, man. I just greatly appreciate it. And, uh, for all those that just tuning in and listening, it is crazy the friendship and bonds hunters make. Um, we've never met in person, but man, we just hit it off on social media and things just kind of snowballed, and it's crazy and just awesome. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
awesome
it's really
experience.
cool how you meet through social media and never met a day in your life, but can have a 45-minute phone conversation or
Yeah.
text with them daily, or whatever that might be. And I was going to talk to you a little bit about the video that you put out on YouTube the other day, and
Right.
I, I thought it was awesome. Now, was everything that you put into that video what you had on video for the entire season, or was that just like small clips from here and there?
That was small clips from here and there. There was uh, probably hundreds of hours of video footage that I went through and just tried to get the little pieces that were the most important and the funnest to watch, I guess you could say. And man, talk about a learning experience though. Adobe Premiere Pro, give me a run for my money.
I bet. Well, if y'all haven't subscribed to Brian yet on YouTube, go check him out at Buck Tags Unlimited. But he posted basically a review of last season, him shooting
Yeah,
some does and even a decent buck, and with the Tacticam, which I thought was pretty cool. I might have to
yeah,
get one of those.
yeah. It worked out. It really saved me, man, because last year was the first year I've ever documented any of my hunts, and I made a lot of rookie mistakes. I got out, got in the tree, and realized I forgot the clip for the camera arm, or the camera just wouldn't be in the right position when I was trying to film a shot. And the Tacticam come in handy, and it backed me up on some good footage. So
Absolutely. Now, what kind of camera were you using for on your camera arm?
it's a Nikon. I'm sorry, a Canon Vivia, I think it is. It's a
Okay.
waterproof edition. It's a smaller entry level camera,
Okay.
a couple $100, and yeah, it
Yeah, you got to
gives some
start
decent. Yeah,
somewhere on the
right.
video. The first one we started using a couple years ago, it was just like a little Sony Handycam, and actually, I think it was my mother-in-law bought it for my wife to take on her bachelorette party
You're right.
to Chicago. When she come back, me and Alan were sitting around, and said we ought to take that camera with us and
Yeah,
get us a little camera arm, because I think we had a cheap camera arm already.
yeah,
We were trying to take pictures at one point, just
right.
kind of having fun with it, and then it,
Yeah,
snowballed into us buying a bunch of equipment, and
yeah.
now we love every aspect of it. But
Oh yeah.
I know how challenging it can be to get all that set up, let alone by yourself. Is there
Yes.
a certain you take everything in one backpack? You got two backpacks? How do you roll?
Well, I got one backpack and just kind of pack light because that camera equipment takes up quite a bit of room. And if I know I'm going to hunt a spot for a day or two, I'll leave the camera arm fixture on the tree. That way I can just go in, snap it in, and get the filming. And a lot of times you just let the camera roll and point it in the direction that you study and know the deer is going to try to come in at. So,
You got any kind of remote that? Because don't you kind of set it away from you a little bit?
so my trick is with the camera when I'm sitting in the tree, I have it low to my left. That way I can see the top of the little view screen, and
Hmm.
I'll move it to where I can see my point of view in the tree.
Right,
Uh,
and that's another advantage as to having somebody just film and
yes.
somebody just hunt, because when you mix the two, your emotions can go everywhere. Things can go haywire pretty
Yeah.
quick on you. And with me and Ryan teaming up, mostly doing the filming last year, it was incredible from the beginning of the year to the end of the year
Right.
how fast we could set things up. We're up the
Right.
tree. I'm first because I go up top.
Right.
He doesn't even pull his bow up yet. And
Yeah.
we're putting the camera arm on. Time I get the base for the camera arm buckled in, ready to rock, he's pulling his bow up. I'm
Yeah.
putting the arm in there. I actually carry almost everything in one backpack. It's a very big backpack,
Yeah. Right.
and my camera has its own separate bag. So
Right.
I'm not even the one hunting, but I'm carrying the most in. I got the big backpack and then my
Yeah.
camera backpack. It's actually a Canon backpack. just for the camera, and it's got pads and stuff in it, and everything's
Right.
separated. So I have to put the external mic on with the windscreen and everything once we
Yeah.
get up in the tree. But that can be challenging.
It is, man. It really is. And I tell you, one of the most underappreciated and talked about fields and hunting is the cameraman.
Oh, absolutely.
Those guys are top notch, man. I really tell you.
When I went to Wisconsin last year at the Redding Ridge Outfitter, the guy that I dealt with most of the time, his name was Mike. I don't remember his last name, but
Right.
he used to be the cameraman for Pete, or not Pete, something Nicole, Driven TV, I
Oh
think is
yeah,
the
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Pat Nicole is what I
Pat
was
and
trying to
Nicole,
say.
yeah.
He was their cameraman for like
Oh
10
wow.
years. And he was
Yeah.
telling me all the stories because he kind of got personal with me because I was showing him everything that I was carrying in. He
Right.
dropped me off and seeing me what I got to set up and everything. And he was like, I feel for you, buddy. I had to
Yeah.
do it for years.
Yep.
That would
Man,
be
it's,
incredible, though, going on
yep.
some of those hunts they get to go on, chasing
Yeah.
big moose and everything else.
Yeah. It would be, man. Definitely. Definitely. That's
Well, let's dive into a little
all
bit.
right. Let's
This
go.
episode, we want to talk to you about early bow season,
Right.
September for you, October,
Yes.
September, October. And just want to pick your brain a little bit on how
That's
you go through certain motions and kind of compare it to maybe what I do as well.
right.
Now, cameras. I want to get into cameras, trail cameras.
Okay.
Um, Summer, spring, summer, and then obviously into September,
Right.
October. How many cameras are you running, and how do you check them daily? Are you
All
running
right.
cell cams, or how's it go?
All right. Well, I'm still doing I'm a traditional guy here. I'm still pulling camera cards, and one of the reasons I'm still doing that is it gives me opportunity to get out and check on the supplemental food sources, check on the food plots. Just do a boots on the ground inventory. So I'm still doing the old school camera cards. I'm running probably 6 or 8 cameras year round. I've got Browning trail cameras that's been on the tree for 3 4 years, 3 years now, and there's after deer season from probably February into January through June. I'll check them monthly or so. I'm not in there a whole lot, um, but after that, when the supplemental food sources really are getting put out, I'm checking them probably about every 2 or 3 weeks at the most.
Now, are you running most of your cell cams over the mineral sites? Or are you putting them on transitions, field edges? How's that work?
Most of them are at the mineral sites, food plots, and just those established uh, supplemental food sources for them. These places have been in the same location for 3 4 years, which that's a little bit of a perk, of having the property to hunt on, or private property with exclusive rights to, is just keeping that same food source in the same spot. It, Deer get to be creatures of habit, so.
Right. And something I probably failed to mention. I'm new to this, but Brian is from northern Kentucky,
Right.
and in Kentucky you can bait even during the season, but
Right.
you get to chase them velvet bucks. There's only
Yes,
several states out there that get to chase them. Is Kentucky a $1 state?
it is a $1 state. That is right. So you got to be picky, and
Yeah,
those velvet bucks can be misleading. Last year, the buck I shot was a big wide 8, and early season he just looked magnificent. This huge, big, wide rack on him. He looked like he was going to pack a lot of mass, and the velvet was misleading. He was a little thinner than I expected, but still a great accomplishment. And I mean, just the backstory behind that hunt was just great, man. It was still a trophy buck in my mind.
Oh, absolutely. The video you put out showing everything, that was really cool. What now? How many bucks you got targeted right now on no hit list?
Well, I've got my top 3. Um, 2 just giant bucks that I think anybody would be glad to see on trail camera. And honestly, if I wouldn't see in the full body on this one buck that's got the double drop times, I would
Right.
think somebody was messing with me. He's that big, but he's a giant. And then there's a big, huge 12, and I've got a couple other solid mainframe 10s that are very worthy of slinging an arrow at.
Yeah, that double drop time buck is that's a lifetime. Most
It,
people would love to kill a drop time, let alone one with two double drop
yeah,
times. So is that a buck that's pretty much number one, and it's this or no buck?
I won't say this or no buck. I'm a man of opportunity, so if I get the opportunity at a 25, 30 yard shot, 40 yard shot, and it's going to be a golden opportunity at any of those three bucks, I'm not going to pass it up. So
I don't blame you. Plus, hopefully next year he would be even bigger, and maybe he'll
yeah,
have a third drop time.
who knows, man? He's a
Well,
tank, though.
that with us gonna hook up and do some hunting together, you could
Yeah,
kill one of those bucks there in Kentucky, and then you never know, you might get a chance at a giant here coming up
yeah,
to hunt here in Indiana.
yeah. That'd be great, man. We got to get you guys down here too, and get you all punching some Kentucky tags on film too. Now,
I'm ecstatic. I think
yeah,
I might miss out on the velvet stage of it, which
right,
sucks because I really want to be part of that. But prior to us kind of talking about it, I already planned a vacation.
right.
Actually, me and the wife and Ryan and his wife are going to Lake Michigan for Labor Day weekend, and
Right.
then after that, the next 2 weekends I have Colts games, and
Oh,
then and I know, and it's something
yeah,
I didn't think
yeah.
about, prior to us having a conversation. I was like, let's go to the first two Colts games. They're home games, and then after that, I'll just focus on, I can check the score from the tree stand. But I might have screwed myself out of a velvet opportunity, but I think I might still try to sneak down there a few days and video for you.
Hey, that'll work, man. We'll just whatever we can make happen, we can make it come together.
Now, on these mineral sites, what kind of minerals are you putting out?
All right, so keep the trophy rocks out year round. Those stay out on the ground and they last a good while. Um, Off season, I'm very big on the mineral blocks. The Big and J's, the trophy rock blocks. Those they're high protein and good food source for them, so I'm keeping those out. Um, mid 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 June. I'm sorry, let me back up here. Probably um, I don't know, March, April time frame or so. They really like the lucky buck well into the summer. Um, and there's a lot of trace minerals that I'll mix together and put out there too. So
Yeah. Now, have you seen that actually improve a lot of the bucks that you have on your farms? You can see, like, man, he must have really been hitting that hard. Look at how much he growed over just the past month.
yes, if you go out there on Instagram and Facebook and check them out, man, you'll see from early season. I've got some bucks that are. There's one. He's a double brow time buck, and he just really just blossomed out and took on some mass. There's one that's got this massive brow tines that are almost as big as his G2s, and really just packing on the size and mass and just really good antler growth from all that extra nutrition. So
I
I
like
think it's
the
paying off.
I like the one you posted the other day, 22 yards from your setup there. Now, that thing was a giant. Is that one of your hit list bucks?
That is one. That's three out of the top three. He's the bottom.
Ooh, man, he is a giant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you got that big drop time, the double drop time buck, and then his running buddy there's just a massive 12 point mainframe 12 point, and just even in velvet, there's not much room between the base of his antlers. He's just huge. And
That's
then
awesome.
then that guy, man, that big 11, he's just massive.
You're talking about a 12 pointer. I feel like it's been a while since I've had a 12 pointer
Right?
on any of my cameras. Usually it's an 8 with a kicker, or
Yeah,
but no mainframe 12 pointers though.
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty unique sometimes.
Yeah, he's a very unique buck, and this year has been a year of split brow times. I bet I got a half a dozen bucks with split brows, double splits, and very. I don't know. There's something in the water. So
Well, well, it's funny you say there's something in the water. Ryan's Shelby County property.
Mhm.
I bet you we've had pictures of probably 6 to 7 bucks altogether this year,
right,
and all their main beams curl up at the end. I have
really,
no idea if it's something in the water.
huh?
I'd say 4 out of those bucks all have that same trait where their
Wow,
main beam just swishes up at the end, and one of them actually has a pretty nice crab claw to go with it.
wow,
But
that's
I just
nice.
thought that was really
Yeah,
unique. I hadn't seen that a whole lot.
no, no, and like I said, this year I've got several bucks with that split brow, and just very odd. I don't know. There's some extra mineral or something that's in the really in the water there for them.
Yeah, this buck here, well,
Yeah.
this buck behind me,
Yeah.
I think it's my 2018 buck,
Right.
and actually when I killed him, and I text and stuff, communicate with a lot of the neighbors as we call them. They hunt
Right.
surrounding farms as compared to mine, and he goes, "It's that split brow buck, isn't it?" I said, "Absolutely." I actually never had pictures of him,
Really?
and the conservation officer had pictures of him like 3 miles from where I killed him.
Oh wow.
So it's just one of those.
Yeah.
Must have got lucky that day. He was probably cruising all night and all
Yeah.
morning, and just found his way into the wrong situation real fast.
He stepped into a danger zone, and it
It was
paid
right
off
off
for
the bat.
you.
It was probably like the
Yeah.
first 5 minutes I could legally shoot. I killed that deer.
Yeah. All right.
But
No hunter would pass that up.
absolutely not.
No.
It's probably one of my biggest deer. He
Yeah.
scored net. He scored 122 and 5/8 or
Wow.
something like that.
Yeah,
He
he's a good one.
scores bigger than that, but
Yeah.
I just go off the net.
Right.
Now down there in Kentucky, are you running any kind of food plots? Have you put anything like that in, or are you just running natural, food sources?
Um, this is the second year for food plots. Last year I had a Antler King food plot that was just a little under a quarter of an acre. Really, I was just rolling the dice on it. So we tilled some ground and threw it out, and it did really well. We had a good mix come in. The deer were using it. It lasted through the late season. And but this year we took a different approach and made it a little bit larger, probably close to 2 acres split of soybeans, sorghum, and buckwheat. So um, we got close to 2 acres of a good food source. It lasts not only for, the last, but it's not only for the deer, it's for the turkeys and doves and other animals out there too. So
We just as far you're pretty much in the same part of the country as we, and we put that throw and grow food plot out there a month ago or whatever. So, and it's literally rained like a half a day since.
yeah,
So I don't think that thing's going to do very good.
yeah,
I hope it does. I hope we just get a monsoon for a couple weeks
yeah.
and it gets it going. But hell, I haven't even mowed my grass in almost 2 weeks here because it
Yeah.
hasn't rained.
Well, we finally just got some rain, and actually, now that you mentioned it, I did go into my number one spot that I hunt there, and I made a small, probably about 100 yard by 40 yard spot for a throw and grow plot, and it come in really good. But the deer movement was so thick in there that they just tore it up.
Just doesn't give it a
Yeah,
chance to grow.
no,
They're eating it as it grows up.
yeah, they've tore it up. So
Now, when you're talking about these, um, you know, checking your trail cams and putting food plots in and your stand locations up, do you have escape routes when it comes to this kind of thing, or are you just getting in and then doing your thing and getting out, and not really paying any attention?
actually, I try to use the same course and path that I'm going to use for deer season. Once they get used to in my opinion, once they get used to you coming in and out of there, that smells a little more familiar. So when you're actually in there, and they might catch a whiff of you on opening morning, but they hopefully it's just a recognized scent. But is it science? I don't know, man. I mean,
I mean, everybody has their
yeah,
their own thing when it comes to their superstitions, as you might say, on
all right,
some of that. I'm pretty much the same way. I mean,
yeah,
just about every place we hunt, we have a pretty similar route that we're in and out of, and
right,
most of them are farms anyways. There's
yeah,
people already going in and out of those locations probably more than we are.
yep,
So I don't think it's even that big of a deal. Just like on the spy points a couple weeks ago, I got
yeah. Oh
20
yeah,
pictures in one
yeah,
day just
yeah,
because the tractor was out there spraying the beans, So I got
yeah.
a bunch of pictures.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Now,
now the deer know when I go in and fill the feeders too, because they'll be. I can go in at 4 o'clock and there'll be pictures at 4:45.
I bet they're probably loving that.
Oh yeah, they're breaking the bank, man.
Oh, I bet. Now, early season, September, October,
Right.
stand locations. Where are you setting up at?
Uh Edge of the yeah. I'm on the edge of the fields, into the timber. So my one stand where that social media post I made the other day about 22 yards.
Yeah.
My stand is literally 22 yards from that camera, and it's another probably 8 to 10 yards to the field. So I'm
Just
35,
inside the field edge.
just inside the field edge on the back side of it, where the sun's not going to be in my face in the morning, and I know they're coming both directions in the morning. So
Right. It seems like here for early season. So when I say early season here, I just mean maybe the beginning of
right,
October. Um, we kind of just sit on transition areas, maybe
yep,
a pasture on the edge of a bean field, or maybe the corner of two fields where there's a pinch point. We don't really have any deep stand locations. Of
right,
course, that's not something we necessarily get into a lot to begin with because we don't really have big sets of woods to hunt.
right.
Do you have any big sets of woods, anyways, where you have a stand, deep in?
I've got a couple that are a good hike in, and you know those are the ones that I really kind of focus on mid season after definitely after the velvet's off. You're kind of getting into pre-rut times, and the like you said, the bucks are kind of moving away from those field areas and getting a little deeper into the woods. So
Yeah, you probably ups your ante a little bit as far
yeah,
as when they start not showing themselves up in the daylight too much. Maybe you're
yes,
closer to a bed and you can catch him right there,
yep,
before it gets dark or him going back to bed in the morning or something.
yep.
Summer shooting. What's
Uh-huh.
uh what's your routines on summer shooting your bow?
When I can,
Yeah.
you know, I've got friends that'll shoot. They'll say I'm shooting 10 arrows a day, or I'm shooting whatever the case is. I'll shoot a couple times a week, but toward the end of July, I move away from my field points, and I'm actually only shooting a couple of the practice broadheads that I'm using, um, and I hunt and I practice with what I hunt with. So, I don't want the surprise of going out and slinging an arrow that's never been fired out of my bow, and it flies a little wonky or whatever. So I always make sure I'm shooting what I'm hunting with.
Right. What kind of broadheads are you shooting?
All right, now I shot the Dirt Nap Gear DRTs, which is a single bevel blade broadhead.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Actually, I got them here. I shot them for years, and then I moved to their Hellhound. It's a fixed blade, 4 blade broadhead, and man, I posted a picture of that too. The first shot was in the pump house, and that was at almost 30 yards. So
Is that one of those does on the video?
yes.
Yeah. That.
No, that was last year. I'm saying this year's broadheads.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
using
Okay.
a
I got
different
you.
one,
I got you.
but yeah. So the previous years I was using these DRTs.
Mm-hmm.
You can get in here
Oh,
to
yeah.
see
Okay.
them.
I
Yeah,
know what you mean.
yeah. Oh man, that little bleeder blade is just phenomenal. They fly really good, but this year I went with this Hellhound. It's just got a little more wallop to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I've heard a lot of good things about Dirt Nap gear. I've never really heard any bad reviews or
right?
anybody that said I'm not ever going to shoot that
Yeah.
again.
No, and yeah, that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So
I
it
shot
flies
I,
good.
sh- I shot muzzies for fixed blade muzzies for years, and sometimes you just want to try new things. And
Yep.
last year I tried the Bloodsport Nightfalls. It's a
Right.
it's a hybrid. It has a fixed blade, and then it's got the expandables that come out there for about
Right.
I think an inch and a half cut or
Ooh,
something. And that buck I shot in Wisconsin, I think, yeah. So I shot 2 deer with my bow last year.
right.
The buck in Wisconsin didn't go 15 yards, and he's standing there. And I'm like, okay, maybe I missed. Maybe I
Yeah.
shot
Yeah.
high. I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on here. All of a sudden, he just fall. I mean, he literally couldn't even take off running.
Just
And
flat.
that expandable
Yeah.
expanded, it just, I mean, it ripped everything in it. And when
Wow.
I field dressed that deer,
Yeah.
his insides looked like somebody put a muzzle of a shotgun inside his chest and
Wow.
just pulled the trigger because everything was just, I mean, his heart was split in half.
Wow.
Everything was just obliterated. I couldn't believe it. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm kind of a believer in those things now.
Hey, if it
Until
works, man, and you've seen, you got the testimony of it, that's all that matters.
right. I mean, if push comes to shove, I'd always shoot a muzzy. Those have been my
Yeah.
favorite since I started bow hunting when I was
Yeah.
about 14 years old.
Right. Yep. I shot muzzies for years, and I'm I shot the old thunderheads. I mean, I think that's every bow hunter's old school favorite.
Right.
But you just gotta
Now
find what works.
I was checking. been watching some of your videos whenever you
Right.
post them, and I noticed that you wear the Under Armour stuff. Is that like is
Yeah,
that a go to you? That what something that you enjoy wearing?
it is. I'm I'm a smaller frame guy, and I've been wearing Under Armour gear for probably 10 years, and I've still got some pieces that are like new. So it works, it lasts, it fits well for me. I'm just I'm just don't change what works.
Creature of habit.
Creature of habit too. Yeah.
That's how I am. I probably 8 years ago or so, I started buying the scent blocker. I bought a
Yeah.
scent suit and all that kind of stuff, and actually just made an order not that long ago. They got a
Yeah.
lot of stuff on sale, but for some reason, I really love the scent blocker
Yeah.
stuff, and I've always been a real tree guy. I know I say that,
Right.
and I'm wearing a mossy oak shirt, but I've always been a real tree guy. I like the
Right.
the original tree stand look, and
Right.
now they got the real tree edge. It's probably one of my favorite patterns. That's everything that I'm wearing right now is in the stand. That's what it is,
Right.
real tree edge. I'm a. Some of my buddies call me weird, but I like my stuff to match when I'm hunting.
Yeah.
Be-
I,
I
I do
mean,
too.
that's just me, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I'm the same way, man. I'm like, hey, the deer may look up and be like, that don't look right. Two different
it's
colors.
it's not even a fashion
Yeah.
statement for me. It's just something that I enjoy, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now,
I
is
feel you.
scent control something that you do even like when you're just like preseason scouting or?
Preseason scouting, not so much, man. I mean, it's hot down here in Kentucky. It's
Oh,
100 and some degrees, so there's not a lot of scent control there. But during the season, yes, I've got the scent crusher closet. I'll run my stuff through that. I use the dead downwind soaps and detergents and
same.
dryer sheets. Yeah, and I just try to be careful with it the best you can, and it
Right.
works.
Now, as far as early season, September, October, you probably really have to be on top of that scent game as for, you're working up a quite of a sweat when it's that hot walking in.
Oh yes, it is, man. You just got to add an extra 15, 20 minutes to your start time or to the time you want to get in the tree, so you got a little extra time to slow down and not get worked up and get so hot.
Right, and I always get excited.
Oh
We
yeah,
always say the same thing. Early
yeah,
season, we'll be getting dressed at the truck. I'm like, man, it is warm.
yeah,
Let's just take our time today
yeah,
walking in. And we get about halfway back there, and
yeah,
then I notice that we're both power walking. I'm like, we're trying
yeah,
to get set up.
yeah, yeah.
Don't want to
Same
get
thing.
busted. Now, early
Yeah.
season, you shooting does early season, or is that something you wait on till later on?
I tried to punch my buck tag first. Um, Worked last year, and I ended up, filling all my tags here. So, uh, and I mean, I always use. I found that using my does in the early season as my decoys, they're live decoys. So to me, it builds a wall of comfort zone for those bucks that are still in that summer trend, summer pattern. And I let them walk till
Yeah, I
to
don't
bring in the
blame you.
big boys. Yeah.
How you can hunt pretty late into Kentucky, right? Into like January,
Yes, end of January. Yeah.
right? And how
Yeah.
many does are you allowed to take where you're at?
All right, so Kentucky's broken up into four different zones. Each zone has a antlerless limit. I'm in a zone that has no limit. You can use all four of your tags here, and then buy bonus tags. One bonus tag's $15. So,
I got you.
yeah.
Your meat freezer's probably looking pretty good.
It was, man, but I run through. My family loves the jerky and the summer sausage. I make all my stuff myself. Summer
Hmm.
smoked summer sausage breakfast and all that stuff. So we go through it. We do.
I bet. When you say like they love it, is it something like as soon as you throw it on the table, they look like piranhas hitting it, or?
They do. Especially backstrap and jerky. When it's coming out of the dehydrator, out of the oven, or off the grill, they're sitting there waiting.
Yeah, that's how we are too. And me and Alan get the grill going or something, watching some football or just hanging out on a Saturday night, and
Yeah,
I'll pull it off the grill. Next thing I turn around, and the plate's gone. It's like, where
yeah,
the hell did it
yeah. We're all about yeah,
go? Now, food sources for
yeah.
early season is.
Mhm.
Do you have a lot of ag around there? Or are they? Is it something that you're focused on, or is it something that you're hunting over, or?
It's something I've been blessed to be um, surrounded by. I've got a farmer that's kind of across the river that's running soybeans this year, and another one on the backside of me. It's probably a mile away, but you know those deer are still hitting its corn. So there's plenty of agriculture that they can get to here.
Right. Is
Yeah.
it something that you've sorry,
No,
something that you've noticed, like where when the beans turn, that they're not hitting the beans anymore, or are they hitting that them alfalfa kind of fields around you? Or are they hiding in the corn? All the above.
a little bit all the above. There's a lot of acorns, so there's a lot of oaks here. So those deer will actually get into the tree lines. After those soybeans and stuff come down, get cut or whatever, and they'll start hitting the acorns and get a little deeper in the woods there too.
Yeah, actually, my Hancock County spot, actually, our stand setup is in an acorn tree, and we've actually been set up before daylight. And
Yeah.
you can just hear them down there
Yep.
crunching on it.
Oh
But
yeah.
I haven't really hunted over those food sources too much in the early season. I mean, I've
Right.
been close,
Yeah.
but we're not hunting properties that are 300 or 400 acres. We're
Right.
mostly working with smaller tracts of land, so
Right.
it's usually a combination of everything. When you think about even all season long, we're
Yeah.
always kind of in the area of everything: the
Yeah.
beds, the travel corridors, the pinch points. But
Yep.
early season, the beans have been productive the last couple of years for
Right.
me and Ryan, but it's not something I really focus on. I just try to catch those. Like we said, we're creatures of, doing the same thing over and
Yeah.
over again. They are too.
Yep.
So when we got those cameras set up and we see what they've been doing for 2 months straight, it's hard not to try to move in early on them and be sort of aggressive. But
Yeah.
then again, I know sometimes that can be a huge mistake as well.
It can, and that's why these last few days of August here are crucial. As far as getting that inventory and patterning out those deers. I mean, I'll even make a little spreadsheet. Saw this deer on this day at this time, and I'll look to kind of give a good analysis on. All right, this is the tree and wind conditions and weather conditions I want to hunt at this tree. So.
Right. Now on that opening day, what kind
Mhm.
of what are you looking at on opening day? Are you going to play the wind, or is it something like we were just talking about? Like, I know this deer's in here. He's been in here every day for a month. We're going to try him right now.
I think it's going to be. I know this deer's in here. I'm going to try it right now. You play your scent game smart. Take your time. Get in there and not be so invasive, and just hope everything
If
works
you can
out.
kill that double drop time buck on the opening day of bow season, that's legendary because
Yeah,
that deer is a monster.
yeah, and if I can get it on film, I think things might
That
change
too.
for Buck Tags Unlimited, man.
Well, I'm gonna try to get down there and film you as much as
Yeah,
possible. It's actually not as far of a drive for me as I thought it was gonna
right,
be, and any time that we
right,
can try to put it together, even if it's
yeah,
just me coming down for the morning or evening or but I'll sleep in the car. That's how
right. Yeah,
you
we got
know.
room for you. We'll make room for you, man.
Right, but I want to get down there and film
Yeah,
for you because I want you to be able to experience what it's like to not have to worry about that cameraman and just to get to focus and kick back on
yeah,
hunting because it takes all the stress. I mean, it's already
yeah.
stressful enough sometimes,
It is.
but
Especially that big wide eight I killed, man. I was surrounded with probably 8 or 10 deer for 40 minutes, and he comes in and goes straight to the big and J block for another half an hour, almost 30 minutes, and I can't move. It talk about intense, and I'm trying to film, I'm trying to watch the camera,
yeah.
trying to watch him. I got a doe underneath of me. I'm like, my heart. I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
Yeah, it can be, and it's people don't understand. They're like, well, if I had the opportunity, I would focus on getting that deer on camera. You don't
Yeah,
know what you're going to do in that
no,
situation. I mean, you
no.
could almost black out and not even know what happened. You wake up and it's like, where'd he go?
Yeah. Well, if you watch that video, you see me turn the camera to myself, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, what just
That,
happened?
yeah, that just really happened type stuff. So,
That was really cool. Now, what was the date on you shooting that buck?
what was that? September the 15th.
So you
So,
got it done. You got it
yeah,
done early season. So,
yeah,
I feel like you know what you're doing when it comes
yeah.
to early season.
And he was actually 3 days out of his velvet. So
Oh,
when I pulled the camera card that day, He had been shedding his velvet and that was the first time he was like completely clean on the rack.
Now,
So
have you ever got to harvest one of those big boys down there that's got velvet on him?
no, but I tell you that double drop time would be a good exception to that,
Oh
wouldn't
wow! Can you?
it?
I can't even explain that deer.
Yeah,
You would have to, if you got when you get him mounted, if you're lucky enough to harvest
yeah,
him, and you got that setup there in the
yeah,
background, you're
yeah.
gonna have to put him front and center. That's
Yeah,
just all there is to it.
the TV might go.
Yeah, right. He's got to be eye level behind
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And it's kind of, you can't really tell, but this table that I'm podcasting on here, I'm actually on like a pub table, so I'm sitting
Okay.
up on like a bar stool,
All right.
so that's why they're kind of right behind me.
I got you, got you. It looked
But
like, I mean, it works. It looks good, man.
right, some people were showing me these pictures the other day where they had like this. They called it an antler tree. And it
Uh-huh.
was like this pole thing they put in the corner of the room,
Right.
and it had all these different places to hang your deer, and then you could kind of rearrange them how you
Oh,
wanted
wow.
it. I was like,
Yeah.
I need one of those
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yeah.
because I've kind
That's
of
nice.
I want to upgrade at some point because I really
Right.
enjoy doing these podcasts, and
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on with and everything. We're gonna have you on quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
But
I
I
appreciate it,
think
man.
it'd be cool to have like a barn siding or something
Yeah.
behind me, and then have one of those where I could just rearrange the bucks on however
Yeah.
I want them. I think
Yeah.
that would look pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, what else you could do there is do a podcast about the story of a specific buck and talk
Yes.
about that hunt, you know?
I definitely want to do that, and I'm waiting on a few things because
Right.
um, I, I've been in talks with a company on them sponsoring me doing a big buck profile on every
There you
show,
go. Yeah.
and there's a certain deer that I want to do right off the bat, and that is Ryan's 8-pointer from last year.
Right.
We never had any pictures of this deer, and it
Right.
is a freaking giant. I mean,
Right.
when he called me, it was actually the only day that I didn't take a camera with him because it was raining, so I just let him go.
All right.
And actually, I slept in that morning because there was
Right.
like 50-mile-an-hour winds. And he calls me freaking out. He just shot this deer, and he's
Yeah.
only about 5 or 6 years in to deer hunting
Right.
period. And I'm like, he says it's a monster. I'm like, yeah, it's probably a good deer. I get down
Yeah.
there and we find it. I'm like, oh my god, this thing's a giant.
Yeah.
It
That's
ended up
awesome, man.
scoring net 153 and some
Ooh.
change as an
Yeah.
8-pointer. I mean,
Yeah.
he is huge.
Yeah. Damn, man. That's an awesome story. Those are the hunts that hook you. Oh, I mean, just
And it's kind of just a wild story, and that's why I want to start with that particular story because he actually wasn't even in the stand. He was actually just going to glass a few bottoms at this particular farm, and it was raining, and
Yeah.
he took the gun out, and they actually have like it's hard to explain, like this little lean-to shed looking deal with
Right.
like a swing in it, and these people just sit there and drink coffee or drink beer and overlook this big bottom. And he goes,
Yeah.
I just went and sat in there for a minute. Next thing I know, this thing's chasing a doe in the pouring rain out in the middle of the field, and he shoots it. I'm like, that is the craziest story I've ever heard when it comes to shooting a big buck like that.
yeah, that is awesome though, man. That is.
Some people just have all the luck, and that's
Hey,
not
they
something
do.
I have, I don't think.
I don't know, man. That wall behind you says otherwise. You put some work in there.
That's it. I do put the work in.
Yeah.
Some people be lucky to put just a couple hours in on the weekend, and there were several weeks last season where we put we put more hours in the stand than most people probably did at work,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is awesome, because I enjoy it
is.
so much.
Yeah.
But when you can hunt a particular place for so many days in a row, you can get it figured out, and you can know what changes you need to make, where you need to sit, and sometimes it just pans out for you.
It does. It does, man. And that's it. It is a blessing to have that opportunity in life to dedicate that time to it. So,
Right.
people
Now,
don't-
do you get the opportunity to take like a rutcation or a vacation in the fall to do any deer hunting?
well, luckily, I'm in the country part here in northern Kentucky, and we have our fall break the first week of October. So it really works out very well to punch some tags for a solid week there. So
Now they're in northern Kentucky. When I was talking earlier, some of them bucks, they don't like to show up too much in the daytime. They bed a lot during the day.
no.
Is that something that you run into there in Kentucky too?
The spots I have keep you entertained. I'll say that.
Well, that's awesome.
I've got some little pinch points and some little transition areas that are they're just active, man. And I took a guy last year. I looked at my watch and it was 5:15 or whatever, and I said, "Hey, there's going to be a little forked horn spike walk under your stand in about 8 minutes." And he kind of looked at me, and sure enough, man, it was about 10 minutes later. You hear me? He walked right under his stand. He looks up at me like, "Well, you know the area."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, do you have buddies that you hunt with regularly, or is just somebody that somebody that wants to hunt with you every once in a while?
Somebody wants to hunt. That was a guy I work with, man, and talk about awesome dude. He shoots an older Hoyt bow. He still shoots the finger release, and but he's deadly with it. So he put the swag down on a big slick head last year, and we got that on film. That's gonna be my next video I'm working on. So
Now, how many videos do you plan on putting out, or is it just something that's when, like, as far as when season comes in, are you gonna try to edit it as much as you can, or is it gonna be like kind of like now when you're at the beginning of the season, you're gonna be putting everything together again?
whatever I can get the time to put in. Honestly, my goal is to have that video as the second episode, and the last episode will be the times I got to hunt with my daughter. She didn't get a punch tag, but we got some really good film and a lot of good first memories there to share. And I think it's going to be very important for hunters to see that it's not always about punching that tag. It's about some of those relationships and experiences you get to have.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. It's funny that you mentioned that. You know, prior to last year, well, maybe the year before, I haven't really got to do a whole bunch of youth deer hunting.
Right.
And we have a youth season in late September,
Right.
and when me and my wife moved into this house, we met the neighbors, and they have 3 young boys that like to hunt, and I got to take a couple of them last year. It's an incredible, and the last 2 nights actually, he'll text me, the dad Adam. He'll text me and say, "Hey, you want to go look for deer?" And he pulls up in his little work car, and we go travel the back roads. And actually, last night we saw a really nice buck right at dark,
Awesome.
about 2 miles from the house, and he was a stud.
Wow.
And we actually know the people that own the property, and they don't let anybody hunt. So, I mean, they got some nice farmland and some incredible properties, but I don't think they're going to let anybody in there.
Yeah. Well, you never know, man. It never hurts to ask. But, especially if it's for a kid. You can say that might be their selling point,
That's true. And actually, this year, we haven't really announced it yet or anything. But, Ryan's been working around a gentleman through his work that actually runs the Wounded Warrior Project here in Indiana, wow. And we're putting something together to take a soldier out this season. Okay. I think it's going to be during gun season,
right?
But it's still an opportunity that we're kind of excited about because we want to, we've been wanting to throw something together for the last couple of years, but it kind of falls under the same category as the youth. It's just very special to see, and I hope that you get to take your daughter again, and hopefully she punches a tag on camera for you, because that's incredible footage to watch.
It is. I remember how excited you were last year and sending me the text and the pictures of the kids hunting and stuff. Man, they were just having a good time. So
they get jacked up. The oldest over here, he's 12 or 13 or so. He hunts just as much as we do. Yeah. And actually, me and my wife own just a little sliver, about 4 acres across from our house, in a little ravine and stuff. And he come and asked me one day, "Do you care if I go over there and go hunt?" I said, "Buddy, you don't even have to ask me anymore. You can go over there and hunt as much as you want." And it's funny. One day, actually, it was towards the end of late bow season here. And me and the boys had actually went duck hunting that morning, and we were pretty successful. And we had some I was doing some cleaning in the garage, and I had some duck carcasses left, and I was going to toss them over the ravine back here for the coyotes, give them something to munch on. And I take a few steps into the woods, and I look up, and he's in a climber, and I was like, "Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry." He's like, "It's okay. I'm almost done anyways."
Yeah. Oh, man.
But seeing the passion for just a young kid to be so passionate about it already, not even being 32 years old like I am, it's going to bite him real hard here in a few years.
It is, man. And those bonds that you're making with him right now are going to last a lifetime. I can tell you test of that right now. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's really cool. They built a big box blind at one of the properties. They've been hunting for years, and they actually had a spring food plot put in, and it's looking really good right now. And about every time they drive their truck back there to work on the box blind, there's deer already in the food plot. He said every time I drive back there, they just stare at me till I almost get there.
Yep.
But they got that put together, and he's going to be able to take his boys out there and sit comfortable. You know, sometimes the youngsters can get a little restless in the stand, you know.
Yep.
So it'd be a little more comfortable for him. But I think I'm going to have him on soon, Adam,
Good.
the dad, here soon, and kind of have him come on and talk about his experiences with taking his boys out and everything, because they've been very successful. And Adam's been very successful on his end, too, because he doesn't think too much like we do sometimes when it comes to scent, and like me and you like wearing, you know, all the same kind of clothing and stuff. He doesn't put too much thought in that kind of thing, and you wouldn't, you know, it's not even a fight that we have, I would say. I wouldn't say it's a heated argument. Sometimes he's like, I don't know why you do this, and then I say, I don't know why you do that. You know? We're just buddies talking, you know, but I can't argue when you walk into his garage. He has a wall that he's got more bucks on the wall than me and you have combined right here.
Wow.
And actually, several of them are from Kentucky, because he goes with a group of guys down there the first weekend. But he has I think it's an 8-pointer. He's got mounted. It's got full velvet on it, and it's a stud.
Yeah.
But he's one of the boys. I think it's the middle son. He killed like 158 and some change a couple years ago during youth season.
That's nice,
which is unheard of here, really. Usually you don't get too much of an opportunity during youth season on a big buck.
That's awesome, man. Blessed kid, man. He's got something, like you said earlier, some people just have that hunter's luck or whatever, you know.
Absolutely. Alan, who did the show with me last week, he says that I have the luck that when I hunt with somebody for the first time, it seems like that always plays out. I took him turkey hunting for the first time several years back, and we went in the woods 20 minutes, and I shot one of the biggest times of my life. And then we start deer hunting together, and one of the first times we deer hunt together, he shoots a 130-some inch buck. We didn't get to find it, but that's another story. But every time I get to hunt with somebody different, actually these two bucks behind me were shot back-to-back years, and it was the only day that I hunted with that person for the entire year.
Wow.
And it happened 2 years in a row. So my cousin Spencer, he's been a little bit of a good luck charmer, and he always says, you know, in early October, hey, let's go hunt. I'm like, nope, we ain't going together until November. You know, around Thanksgiving, we'll go Friday of Thanksgiving together and see how it works out. Well, I appreciate you coming on with us again. We're going to have you on a ton. We love talking deer with you. We're going to get down there and film for you and maybe punch a couple tags ourselves.
Definitely.
Tell everybody where they can find you at on all of your social media stuff.
Just Buck Tags Unlimited. I'm trying to narrow it down to make it a little easier there. So, it's just Buck Tags Unlimited, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So.
That's awesome. And you're doing the TikTok thing now, right?
Yeah. Somebody turned me on to that TikTok stuff, man. And I'm still learning that one. But I tell you what, talk about fast video editing, and I mean, you can get a quick blurb out real fast, man. So it's pretty nice.
And the hunting community on there is pretty cool too. Everybody will follow you and comment on your stuff and say, "Hey, that's really cool, man," and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I found it kind of interesting. I wouldn't say I'm a TikToker, but I like using it for a social for the podcast and for our YouTube and stuff to get people to know kind of what we're doing.
Right.
But I appreciate everything, and
yes, sir.
Everybody like and subscribe to our channel here and give us a shout and let us know how we're doing, or maybe you have some ideas on some guests that you want us to have on, or if maybe you just want to bullshit with us. Either way, we're here for you, and thanks for watching, guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.